What's up, guys? Welcome to the Athlete Conversation. Today I have my good friend Gigi Speer with me. Gigi, how are you? Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited, not only that this podcast exists, because I think it's very cool and people want to know these stories, but that I'm here because I'm kind of not an athlete anymore. So I'm happy to be here and still represent.
You made a good impact at Fordham University, right? I would say you were a bit of a legend there.
That is a big claim.
Do you feel like a legend there or no? You feel like you made an impact? Because you definitely did.
Yeah, I
feel
think
like
I made
everyone
an
knows
impact.
you.
Oh, wow, thank you. Yeah, I think I made an impact.
What made you have the need to make an impact? Are you the type of person that just dominates in everything you do? Like, do you put your best effort forward?
Wow, I feel like you're getting deep already.
Yeah, I like jumping straight in there.
Yes.
We only have half an hour, so
no,
might as
yeah,
well.
all right, speed round. Yeah. So I think like for me, I'm so motivated and there's so much I want to do. And I'll start this with one of my favorite quotes ever that my friend said. It was like, you can't complain that there's a lot on your plate if the goal is to eat. And my goal has always been to eat. That is from Isis Young on Kelly Bright's video. So two other different Fordham legends, but still, that just motivates me because since I was maybe in 7th or 8th grade, I knew I wanted to not only play sports, but I wanted to do anything outside of sports. I wanted to do well in the classroom. Very like an overachiever.
So you did well in school and in sports, right?
Yes.
Tell the camera, the audience a little bit where you played. Softball, obviously, Division I, Fordham, Division I school. So tell us a little bit about yourself, a little summary so the audience knows the legend that's speaking right now.
I am Gigi Speer. I played softball and graduated from Fordham University last year in 2022. I was an outfielder. And we won 2 championships while I was there at my freshman year and my senior year. So it was really good bookends.
Yeah.
And I was in the honors program, so I was really focused on school too. And then I did WFEV radio while I was there and had a whole bunch of odd jobs, but got to have that communications piece outside of sports. So I was never really too reliant on one thing for happiness.
Okay.
So that would be good and bad because you're spreading yourself pretty thin. But at the same time, it'd be like, all right, I'm not going to take maybe this practice way too seriously to the point where like I'm not performing well because I know I have this other stuff outside that if softball's not working, this stuff will be working. So
that's the mentality you kind of had that's why you kept your plate busy. You had a lot of things in there.
Yeah, I don't think I would have done as much if one thing went right. Like if I was a perfect student, I wouldn't have played softball. I would be at like maybe a different school. Or like I'd be very involved more in academics. Or if I was really, really good at softball, I might have never done like any of the communication stuff. So yeah, it kind of like lit the fire.
You were really good at softball though, and at school.
I was good for the team. I was perfect for the team, but I didn't start. I actually had my first career start, I think, as a pitcher, which was so random because our pitchers got hurt and I was never supposed to pitch in college. So it was hilarious. I was on the mound. I was so nervous. Like I had never thought I would pitch against these gigantic girls.
Yeah,
like
they're ballers.
The most muscular people ever. And little freshman year, I had to pitch. But I think my important role on the team was more like bringing the team together and encouraging my teammates, being a really good teammate, and having other skills outside of softball.
And how did you bring the team together? I'm sorry, I have all these questions here, but usually when I start talking, I'm like,
no, we'll let it roll. Yeah.
I just want to build into a conversation.
I think like really getting to know people. Like I'm sure you felt the same way and continue to feel the same way. These people you're playing with are like the coolest people in your mind. You like, sometimes I would look around and be like, wow, seriously? Like, I'm with this person. Not only are they a great pitcher, but they're my best friend. And I could say that for a whole bunch of girls on the team. So I think it came really easy to be a good teammate because you want to do well for your team, always.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think those relationships that you build playing for school are relationships you're going to have forever?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went to a wedding for one of the girls that was a senior when I was a freshman. And I was like, what? I got the
Wow.
invite. Like I was a freshman on the team. Yeah.
Did you already make an impact on the team when you were a freshman? You think so or no?
I think it's tough to say for yourself, but
Yeah.
I think I ended up finding myself after some time because I was a walk-on too. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was a 2-week long tryout, and my first tryout was 3 hours long, and it was just me and the 3 coaches. And in those 2 weeks, I did a punishment run, and it was it was just like such a tough way to try out, but it really built character.
Yeah.
And then I think I found my groove later on. And then with actually performing well in softball, I think I was really nervous my freshman year, like kind of imposter syndrome as a walk-on. And then sophomore year, I found a groove where I was like pretty
You were moving
confident.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you think you changed? This is maybe a bit of a deep question, but how do you think you changed from your freshman year all the way to your senior year? And you did a grad year as well, right?
No,
grad year?
Yeah, I graduated in 2022 and I'm planning on going to law school later. So 2024, I'll start that. But no, yeah, I was there for 4 years. And like I said before, it was a bookend. It was championship my freshman year, championship my senior year.
Winner. That's a winner right there.
Winner.
We have a
And
winner on
I
the
got
show.
2 rings.
Let's
I wish
go.
I had them, but they do look cool, I promise. And I think that the biggest way I changed was with how I put pressure on myself, because I still continue to put pressure on myself to this day.
I mean, if you go to law school, you have to.
It's like you're like
you gotta
drowning.
perform.
It's drowning in pressure, but it's cool. Like you find ways to swim throughout that too, like and to excel. But I think that I would put pressure on myself senior year to push myself to be a good teammate, like I was saying before, rather than making it all about me. Because I think like to a certain extent, you have to have things all about you and know that you're covering your bases with training, with sleeping, with doing well in school, whatever else. But also when you let go of your ego and you're just playing, I changed so much until my senior year. I didn't hit a home run. This is a true fact at Fordham's Field until my senior year. And then I just like busted it open. Like I swear to you, I never got one over the fence unless the plate was moved up. Seriously. And then one practice, I hit one, and then I couldn't stop hitting them. And I was like thinking about it after I graduated. I was like, that wasn't just random. That was just me literally letting go and still having the pressure. And I want to do well for my team, and I want to do well for myself and my family and all that.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's not too much pressure where you're taking yourself out of the moment.
You're just
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is having like the high standards, that's a must in whatever you do, right? But then having the flexibility when it comes to pressure, right? So how has that changed now that you're in the workforce, you're kind of figuring out your life, you want to go to law school eventually? Do you still put yourself a lot of pressure to perform in the office, or what are you doing after school now, by the way?
Yeah, so right now I
Tell
work
us.
at CNBC doing digital production. So like I'm basically doing social media for them and helping them post stuff on YouTube and stuff.
That's super cool.
And it is pretty cool. It's very fun, but at the same time, it's not as much pressure as like going to practice for 3 hours and then like going to go to class to then graduate.
Isn't that a positive though? I feel like that's one of the benefits of being an athlete, right? In school.
Yes, but when I started, I was like, let me get this done. He gave me an assignment. Let me get it done in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like you weirdly like still want to compete. And I think that my big thing right now is finding other ways to compete. So like in December, I ran a marathon because I was like, let me just see if I could do it. And I think stuff like that is coming up a lot where it's like, okay, like you could still have that mindset of an athlete where you want to win at whatever you do, but like it could be a whole different thing. And
Absolutely.
It's so different after graduating, but you don't lose that.
Okay. And how do you get that? What made you be a winner, for example?
Ooh, oh my God, great question. I think so. There's a show out right now called Breakpoint, and it's about tennis players. The whole premise is young tennis players trying to beat the greats, like beat Serena Williams, beat Nadal, and they all talk about like that break point, not only in the game where they could like take it from the great player, but that break point in their mind where like they'll go off a path and then it will just be like negative, and they can't get the ball, they can't even serve the ball in. But some of them are able to like corral their mind in, focus, and then win against these great players. So that made me think about it, where with me, like, okay, I might have not been at all Hall of Fame standards with softball. I barely played, but I did have the mindset that got me there and got me to walk on. And I think that for me came from different moments throughout your life where you learn to believe in yourself and you learn that you're good at certain things, and then you try that again and then you're good again. And then it's like, oh, I love that and I can do it. And I think the worst enemy for athletes is like their own selves. You're going to have like nemesises, you're going to have teams you hate, but like the best thing you could do is like be in control of your own mind and then be able to anticipate the future in a really good way. You know, like that's when you could visualize, that's when you're in the zone, but it doesn't come all the time. So like knowing that you're going to have sometimes pretty shitty, sometimes you're okay, and then sometimes you're great, and then being okay throughout it all and being like, all right, I got this. Like the next thing I can do, I can reset and
then go back at it.
Yeah.
So you practice like meditation and stuff like that on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think pretty much every day besides today. But
Besides today, you didn't meditate today?
Yeah, I was in a rush today.
Yeah, we're moving. Sometimes you just gotta make moves, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And you think you take exercise as therapy? Do you have that like embedded in your mind, for example? I feel like a lot of people, especially those who are successful in working out or being an athlete, professional athletes, they kind of take working out and putting in the hours as therapy, right? As mental therapy. Like when I work out, I just feel better after. I feel better about myself. I feel like I can crush my goals. So would you agree with exercise being considered a form of therapy?
Yeah, 100%. That's why, like today, instead of waking up and meditating, I woke up and I went to this free class I had a pass for, like a psycho class. And I was like, I know I might be tired right now, but afterwards I'm going to feel great. Yeah, it's so therapeutic.
Yeah, yeah, I deeply agree with that. And let's move on a little bit and let's talk about women in sports, right? What would your advice be to a young girl trying to make it big like you did, have a career in softball, Division I sports, even go to a school like Fordham and succeed?
Oh my God. So I think like my biggest mission in life is to try and get as many girls to play and to keep playing as possible, because there's a huge drop off after 13 years old for girls.
Oh, really?
To play. Yeah. And
how come?
There's a lot of theories. I think some of it could be just like peer pressure. You know, you get to high school, you want to fit in socially. And for softball, you have to commit weekends after weekends after weekends to your sport. And then you're practicing throughout the week. So I think just keep having fun with it is what I would say to girls, because that passion, and I don't know what the equivalent would be in soccer, but like as a young girl, you're just playing. You're like literally having your best friends. You're like sliding in dirt and just like getting messy and having fun. That fun is like what keeps people playing, because people will stop. People will quit after freshman year of a D1 school or after 1 year of playing professional, but it's because they stop having fun. So I think that's the biggest thing.
So, and you have a question, right?
Yeah.
You have something you want to ask? Okay, go ahead. Ask the question.
I feel like you've talked a lot about like sports in general, but as like a female athlete in a D1 school, do you think that there were like specific challenges that were like specific to female athletes that other athletes may not have like faced?
Yeah, for sure.
Let me rephrase the question here because they might not hear it. So as a D1 student athlete, are there any challenges that, not as an athlete, as more as a woman yourself, are there any challenges that you faced?
Oh my God. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of challenges, and I ended up writing my honors thesis about like those challenges.
Okay. I actually didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, it was like, it was a long thing, but I love that I did it because I wrote specifically about Fordham, and I quizzed all the Fordham female student athletes. So I think there's like 400 total student athletes, about that, maybe 470 at Fordham at the time I wrote it. And like just over 200, maybe less than 200 were women or girls. And so I got most of them to respond. And they said that one of the toughest things about being a female student athlete was like not being as taken seriously as male athletes. And I see that for sure, even on like my working side at Fordham, now as a graduate and when I was there, where like you have to push to have people come to women's games. And that's the thing in all women's sports right now. Even pro, WNBA has been around for like 26, 27 years.
Yeah.
The NBA is 50 years older than that. So that's 77 years versus 50 or versus 27. So still like it is relatively new, but you got to remember like there have been female athletes throughout history. So something I learned was there was a female Olympian in like 296 BC. Seriously. And she won.
Wow.
And you would never know that. But so I think like the more you talk about like those good stories and like how much winning is going on for women and like how much viewership is going up for different female athletes and like their games, it's a great time to be a female athlete.
Yeah.
Yes. That being said, there's a whole bunch of challenges. Yeah, like you don't feel as taken seriously, not only by your peers, the other like athletes on campus, but also maybe by teachers. Like you have to convince your teachers, oh no, I can't come to class today. Like I'm gonna be on a plane going to a tournament. They're like, what tournament? And you're like, all right, I have to explain this whole thing to you. So yeah, I think that there's so many challenges, but also there's so many good parts to it. And I think it's only up on the rise.
I think also like women's sports, especially at least at Fordham, you guys train equally or more than the men. Like especially a sport like softball, you guys are training all the time. Like how long was training? Like 2 hours?
Yeah, it was 3 hours.
Like, it's a big commitment. Like it's definitely a serious thing. Anyone who thinks otherwise is extremely ignorant, I would say, in every way. You guys are traveling, you're competing. It's very intense. And you mentioned you feel the same way after college as well in your work environment. In what way?
So I think working in athletics at a college, you kind of have to push for things that people wouldn't normally push for. So the blueprint is to promote men's basketball and to promote football, because historically those make money for the school.
Absolutely.
Valid. Okay. But at the same time, the women's basketball team wins a lot. So why don't we try and encourage just as many people to come to those games? Or like, instead of having the game be at 2:00 on a Sunday, make it 7 p.m. on a Tuesday when people might actually come. So different like tweaks like that where I don't really have control over it, but I noticed it as a student and I notice it now working, and I'm like, it's not my job, but
you feel the fire
I'm gonna say
inside.
something. Yeah, because like it is like, it's just a little thing. It's like, all right, let's promote it. Let's give t-shirts out at a basketball game for men and at a basketball game for women. Why not? Like if we could get fans there.
Have you been successful with that?
That initiative, the comments, people will listen to them.
People will listen, right?
Yeah, because some people don't realize it's not equal. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's important to have a voice and stand up for what you believe, right?
What else is there?
See,
that's why you have this podcast.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But people, like regular people don't really, I mean, regular people, depending who you are, right? But most normal human beings, they don't feel that way, you know? I feel like it's a blessing that comes with being an athlete, sacrificing most of your time. I feel like you, especially you, like I'm talking to you right now, you're a winner. I like when I speak to you, I see a winner, right? And usually I try to surround myself, my closest friends. I like hanging out with winners. I feel like that's, and I say this in every episode, but you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? So you gotta surround yourself with winners. But the issue with that is that when you're around winners, you don't realize that maybe a lot of people are also, they need this source of motivation, right? Maybe they feel scared to stand up for what they believe. And I think having like a voice or someone who encourages that is very important. Would you agree?
Yeah, it takes like one person to break the mold. And then you see someone you really respect do something that you might be a little bit scared to do. Okay, let me try that. Let me try and go out of my comfort zone and do something else, because growth is amazing, and it's really one of the worst feelings is feeling like you're stuck. So like, why not constantly grow? Surround yourself with people that you respect and you would admire. And that's what a team is too, you know? Like that's the athlete conversation, I think, is so interesting, because you have a team when you're an athlete. Even if you're in an individual sport like tennis, you still have a coach, you have people, you're all coming together for one goal and you want to win, and you're all going to be elevated. Like a rising tide raises all boats, I think is the quote. So like if one person is growing and learning something about themselves or about the world, you're going to encourage those 4 other people around you to do the same.
Absolutely. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend, because she's also a grinder. And she's been working Sea Lions since she was like a sophomore in college.
Wow.
And that's something that a lot of like regular students, for example, don't have. I think discipline is extremely important in anything you do. You need discipline. You got to be consistent. You have to have that mindset of I'm learning, I'm growing, learn from your surroundings. And that's what I think is the key to success, right? So let's move a little bit into leadership, right? What do you think makes a good leader?
Oh, I'm so lucky to have great leaders throughout my life, like especially my playing career. I think of everybody either I was a leader with or they were leaders for me. I think, first of all, not being a hypocrite, I think, is the hugest thing, because
Yeah,
that's a great way to gain respect. Like that discipline you're talking about. If you're just saying that and you're not following up on it, why would I listen to you? You know, like,
Absolutely.
of course I'm going to listen to you. You're disciplined. So yeah, holding yourself accountable for sure. I think that's what great leaders do. They take care of themselves first, and then they really get to understand the people that they're leading. And a great leader could even be someone younger than you. I always have believed that. And it's someone who offers their wisdom for other people to listen to and to grow from, knowing what works for different people. So being someone who holds themselves accountable, is adaptable with how you're interacting with people. And then I think also someone who's super positive. And you don't have to be outgoing and smiling all the time, but positive in the way it's like, oh, no, we might be down 12-0, but we're going to win this game. Like, let me just corral everybody right now, a great leader would do, and say, we got this. Like, we all can do it. Being positive, always knowing that there's a good goal in sight that's attainable.
Yeah, and you can definitely carry that into your work environment, right? In whatever you do. And what made you want to go to law school, by the way? I'm just curious.
I want to spark real change in the world. And I think it's a great thing to do that when you have a law degree.
Okay.
Hopefully I'm thinking that again in 3 years when I'm there.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I had in my last episode, not the one with my girlfriend and twin, the one before that, episode 5, with Nico GM and Gigi Poleo. Gigi Poleo was a Division 1 athlete as well, played for UCLA, and he's currently in law school. And the guy's a winner too, eh? He's a winner and a half. Shout out to Gigi.
Shout out.
And he came in and he said, listen, most of the kids that I'm competing with, because you are kind of competing, right? You're going to class, grades, professors, it's very intense. But most of them haven't been exposed to what it's like being a community Division 1 athlete, right? So for him, it's a walk in the park. He's like, when they asked him, I mean, it's a grind, but it's something that he's used to, right? So when they asked him, can you work weekends, for example, his response was, my biggest performance days have always been the weekends. Because
bold of him.
Games are played on Saturdays and on Sundays, right? So I feel like that mindset that you develop being an athlete and staying consistent to your craft will definitely help you out, though. But what type of change are you, like, in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, right? What type of change are you trying to implement?
Ooh, okay. I think what I would love to see in, let's do like 20 years, is I think that I would love to see more girls continuing to play sports. So like instead of that drop-off rate happening at 13, it's happening at 22 when they're done in college. But I would also love to see another graph where that there's no drop-off. People just keep playing, because professional opportunities not only grow, but you get paid big bucks. I want female athletes. Yeah, I want you. Oh my God. And it's tough in every sport, but like, you know, like an average softball player can make like $40,000 a year as a professional, but you can only imagine what someone on the Yankees is making, you know?
Absolutely.
So I think 20 years is a little tough. Like women's sports professionally have been around for maybe 30 years. So I think, 50 years total of a women's professional sports league, that could be a whole different entity than what we see right now. So yeah, those for little girls to keep playing, and for women who continue to play to make a lot of money. Yeah, and I want to help that along in whatever way I can.
Hopefully, I mean, hopefully that happens. I mean, 20 years is a long time. I wonder where our society is going to be in 20 years. That'd be very interesting. But you'll definitely, no matter what you're doing, you'll definitely be winning. I can guarantee you that. So we are kind of running out of time, but I have a couple audience questions that I want to ask you. One of them is, what's your diet like? And what is the best way to maintain a planned diet as an athlete?
Okay, I don't think a planned diet is always the best thing for some people. And I think like just being conscious of what you're eating and pushing protein, that's a huge thing.
Yeah,
you know,
like massive.
Yeah, it's literally a game changer, and that's how you build muscle. So yeah, I would say my diet would be like a lot of protein and a lot of vegetables, but then I'll also I'm a huge foodie. Like I'll always have room to try something. Like last night, a great grilled cheese. Oh my God, amazing. I love grilled cheese too. Yeah. I love grilled cheese. So good. With tomato soup.
With tomato soup?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty fire. The tomato soup has to be kind of hot though, no? Like hot.
Yes. Oh my God, hot
tomato soup.
Hot grilled cheese. But then also like just being conscious, like, all right, I'm getting my protein. I'm drinking a lot of water. And I'm healthy. Doing whatever makes you feel healthy in your mind and in your body,
And
I
your
think is
body.
huge. But
You-
yeah.
And you work out a lot, right? You said.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
still
yeah.
work out a lot. This is, I mean, you still carry all those habits that you developed in college. You still have them now. I mean, you probably developed these habits when you're freaking 13.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
so young and you get used to moving. So yeah,
Yeah.
like even working 9 to 5, you're like, all right, let me get up, go for a walk real quick. Cause like your whole job in college is to move. So
Yeah.
letting go of that is a little tough. But yeah, moving a lot and eating pretty well, I think is huge. Keeping yourself happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a key.
Mhm.
And then the weekends, do you drink by any chance? Like every now and
I'm
then, a
doing-
social drink?
Yeah, I do every
Yeah.
now and then. I'm doing dry January right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it just feels good to not. It's kind of really hard to imagine like taking a shot or something, for example. But like
Yeah.
I'm working at a brewery tonight, an event, and I'm like, I'm good. Like, give me water. But I, like I said, I'm a foodie. So like if I could try a new, like a cider or like a cocktail, oh yeah, I will for sure.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to have the capability of going out into a social event and not drink and still enjoy yourself.
That's
I
discipline.
feel like that's key. And that is
Yeah.
discipline, right? So that's another way that these little like hints of discipline and of a balanced life kind of show, in my opinion, at least. If you can go to an event, not drink, and still be fun, have a good time and be happy with yourself, I think that's a good sign that you're doing well. Especially when you're young, right? In college, everyone's like pushing drinking,
Right.
alcohol. So
In
if-
high school too.
In high school, too.
I wouldn't drink.
Me
'Cause I'm
neither.
like, I have to play a softball tournament.
Yeah.
You guys don't.
I thought I was
It's
a
different.
professional soccer player back
Oh,
in
you
high
did?
school.
In high school?
dude.
Oh my
I thought I
God.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drink. I touched my first drink when I was like 17. Honestly, I was
Maybe me too. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 17.
I was always the dude. Nah, I don't drink. I play
don't.
soccer or something like that.
And
yeah.
look, it got you so far.
Listen, yeah, that is true. Hopefully, we'll keep on growing, right?
Yeah.
And then the last question I have is, how did you schedule your studies and training back in college? So how do you find the balance between the two? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Plan your week out. You know you're going to be practicing. Our block was 11:30 to 2:30 for softball. And then we had lift from 10 to 11:30. So from 10 to 2:30, I was busy. No class, just softball. But I would have class maybe like 8:30 to 9:45, and then you run to
Yeah.
practice. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You're
And now I crutch to practice.
Oh, now you crush.
Now I crush to
You-
practice.
And too bad you can't have an electric scooter. I guess
Yeah.
you couldn't do that anyway.
No.
One where you could put your knee up.
That's for the ankle
Oh,
injury.
you can't bend it.
Yeah, mine's the knee. So I'm crutching. Now I'm not
Crutch.
walking, I'm crutching. It's a bit of a workout, I'm not gonna lie.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Don't risk it. Show up late. Everyone will understand. Yeah. But
But see, I still have the standard. I gotta show up on time. Especially because I was named.
it's hard not to.
Yeah, it's hard not to. Even when I'm on crutches, I just feel like the challenge kind of gets me going a little bit. I just
Yeah.
want to prove to everyone that I can still make it on time.
Yeah,
So-
look at you balance all this. What
Yeah.
were you named?
What's up?
Said you were named something?
Oh yeah, I was named captain.
Captain? Oh,
Captain
congrats.
of the team last year.
That's awesome.
It was a big shift for me because I had some year as a captain at the beginning, and Jacob and all those guys that you're familiar with, and they did a pretty awesome job, right? They kept the team motivated, and when I went in, they were already the captains, so I was kind of used to kind of relying on them for guidance, like texting every day on the group chat or have planning team dinners or planning team rules and all of that. And then my senior year, everyone left because of COVID. So everyone had an extra year. The same team came back and then everyone left. And we were kind of thrown into the fire with Jack Slaus and Danny Espilara. But we managed it, and you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about yourself when you have expectations from maybe a superior, in this case, or coach, and
Yeah.
you gotta make it work. So I would advise everyone to kind of put themselves, or actually try to make an effort to put themselves in the position of, okay, what if I was a leader right now? What would I do? Even if you're like entry level anywhere, you're an SDR in a sales job, and this is your
Yeah.
first year, try to put yourself in, what if I was the boss, and then that might actually even give you some empathy towards your boss if he's always stressed out
true.
or if he's screaming at you, and it's definitely going to be a growing process. I mean, at least for me it was, because once you put yourself in that position and, okay, now I'm responsible of the growth of this team, which might be a little too much, right? But that's
how everybody should think. on
that's
a
how,
team.
yeah, I think that's how the best results come, right? So it's the little things. So did I text this guy? He wasn't doing well in training today. He looked sad. Send him a text. Okay, tomorrow we're wearing this uniform. Someone has to take care of water, and then the pennies have to be out. We gotta wash it. It's a whole process, right? But I think everyone should at least try to put themselves in a position of leadership.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a great feeling too, because
Yeah.
when you give to other people, it comes back to you in ways you don't even realize. And yeah, I think everybody on the team is a leader. It has the
Yeah.
potential to be a leader at
Absolutely.
different times. Yeah, for sure.
Everyone who's putting their best efforts out there has the potential to be a leader, I believe. Right?
Yeah. And why not put your best?
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, Gigi, I honestly could be talking for another
We
hour
could
and
go-
a half.
I know.
We're just breaking it down a little bit, and we're
Yeah.
about to start rolling. But you have places to be, so I want to thank you very much for being here. Hopefully, we'll run it back in a few more episodes.
I'm down.
Once people start listening more and we're popping a little bit, we'll have you back. Sounds good.
I'm so down. Thank you,
Right.
Conrado.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
team, too. Thanks for setting this up.
Thank you, Felix. Thank you guys for watching.